Week 1 of professional competitive League of Legends has begun. Because of the new 10 ban system, there are now dozens of different niche champion picks. One such pick that has been picked in NA, EU, Korea, and China is the Singed top pick.
It forces him onto something else, and there you go. The Singed for Looper in the top lane. It has been played into Maokai multiple times now over in the LCK.
He might actually get locked in. There's a Korean Singed player on the ends tearing up the ladder, and now, handed back over to Samsung Galaxy.
What makes Singed top so good now? Traditionally, Singed has been considered somewhat of a troll pick. He was up there with the other cancerous champions like Urgot or Teemo. Never really a big threat, but never just really fun to play against. But now there are multiple high elo Singed players in every single region. Most notably, there are 2 Singed players in Challenger Korea. What has made Singed viable all of a sudden? To understand why Singed is good now, we have to understand why Singed wasn't so good before. The 2 main reasons that Singed wasn't very good before were because he had a lot of poor matchups and because of the way that he farmed. Most Singed players like to proxy farm. Proxy farming is the act of farming behind someone else's tower. This way your minions push to the enemy tower uncontested. This is a fairly risky strategy in the early game because any type of early game jungler could just show up and pick up first blood. This new version of Singed focuses entirely on Singed that can actually stay in the lane. A big reason that most Singed players don't stay in the lane is because of the way that they farm. If you think about the way that people position in the lane, most people position behind or near their minion line. Unfortunately, Singed has to go to the enemy minion line in order to get his poison trail down. This opens him up to being traded with very freely. As a result, Singed loses a large number of matchups. This is why many Singed players have adopted the proxy strategy. The biggest reason that people have now begun to play lane Singed is because of the item Dark Seal. If you've played against a Singed recently, you may have noticed him buying multiple Dark Seals. Why is purchasing so much of a single item that doesn't build into anything other than Magi so good? Let's take a look at Dark Seal, and let's compare it to the most similar item that we can find. In this case, it would be Doran's Ring. Most mage champions either start Dark Seal or Doran's Ring. Now, both of these items are early game items. They will both eventually be sold to purchase something else. Doran's Ring costs 400 gold to purchase, and is sold at 160 gold. Dark Seal is purchased at 350 gold, while sold at 245 gold. So you are already seeing a big difference value-wise. Doran's Ring and Dark Seal both give you 15 ability power. Dark Seal gives you 100 mana, while Doran's Ring gives you 60 HP. And Doran's Ring gives you 50% base mana regeneration, and 4 mana every time you kill a unit. Meanwhile, Dark Seal gives you 25% increased healing from potions, and a small Magi Soul Stealer effect. In order for the Doran's Ring passive to equal to 100 mana, you only need to kill about 25 minions. And we are not even counting the extra base mana regeneration. However, this is Singed we're talking about. The extra 100 mana synergizes with his passive, which means Dark Seal also gives Singed an additional 20 HP. If you have Corrupting Potion, the additional HP resulted from the healing effect is about 75. So you can already see that overall, aside from the mana gain, Dark Seal is just a much better item than Doran's Ring for Singed. When you purchase Doran's items, you are looking for early game strength. Doran's items are inherently more cost efficient than regular items because they don't build into bigger items. When you're playing a champion that is allowed to buy 4 early game items and not be punished, that means your level 6 and your mid game are just going to be a lot stronger than the enemy lane opponent. I think anyone playing League of Legends, no matter what rank you are, understands the basic rule of never chase Singed. Even the lowest ranked players understand that rule, and yet some people in high elo still do it. How do Singed players get them to do it? By making themselves extremely low. As much as you have to screw with someone in lane as Singed, you also have to be able to screw with their heads. In this example, Ivern is attempting to to kill Singed. Singed is extremely low. He only has about 200 HP left. He has no armor or magic resist items. What does he have? He has his ultimate, and he has a corrupting potion and a bunch of dark seals. With 4 dark seals, the healing regeneration from corrupting potion is doubled. On top of the stats from his ultimate, Singed is regenerating around 30 HP per second. For comparison, Ivern regenerates about 2.5 HP every second. When Ivern actually throws his combo at Singed, it looks like he didn't do any damage. The reality is that he did do damage. It's just that Singed regenerated so much HP, it looked like he didn't do anything. Ivern does about 100 damage to him, but Singed regenerates that in about 3 seconds. After Ivern falls and Singed levels up, he continues to regenerate, and he begins a dive on Tryndamere at 600 HP. This secures him a second easy kill. In the mid-game, Singed is kind of like Wolverine. The Dark Seals build doesn't make Singed a giant wall that you can't break through. Rather, it kind of makes him look like Wolverine. Wolverine still takes damage, it's just that he heals so fast, it doesn't really seem like he's taking damage. Mind you, this is only realistically for his level 6, where his Dark Seals build is having the most effect. But how do pros keep Singed relevant throughout the late game? Here is the most common build for Singed. Dark Seal and Refillable Potion as your start, or Corrupting Potion. Purchase a second Dark Seal at around level 4, then purchase Dark Seal and Boots, or 2 more Dark Seals at around level 6. After that, complete upgraded boots into Righteous Glory. Go into ZZ Rot if you're behind, Leandri's Torment if you're ahead, and finish your build off with big tank items such as Deadman's Plate, Randuin's, or Spirit Visage. This Singed build focuses on his mid-game. High elo games and professional play last much shorter and are heavily focused in the mid-game. This Singed build creates a version of Singed that is viable in that environment. You cannot have your top laner split pushing all game. You need to have a champion that is capable of grouping, that is capable of engaging. Righteous Glory gives Singed that tool, and full tank allows him to be more useful to his team. One of my favorite things to do as Singed in the early game is to cheese an early camp. You can do this with either wolves or wraiths. By kiting out and auto-attacking the correct minions, you are able to get around 4 minions worth of EXP. This means you only need 3 minions to hit that crucial level 2 power spike. A lot of players don't expect such an early level 2 and will often either give up their flash or a first blood. For runes, go scaling HP per level yellows, scaling magic resist per level blues, magic penetration reds, and movement speed quintessences. If you believe that you're in a physical matchup that you're going to be bullied pretty hard in, instead of movement speed quintessences, you can get flat armor quintessences instead. Some alternatives to this is getting flat ability power blues instead of magic resist blues, and getting armor yellows with ability power quintessences. For Masteries, you want to go 18-0-12. There are several different versions for Masteries that you can take on Singed, but this one is the most successful version. 18-0-12. Deathfire Touch synergizes very well with your Poison Tail. Though Courage of Colossus is also pretty good for Singed, the damage and the value that you receive from Deathfire Touch is a little bit too good. Unyielding synergizes with your tank items and with your ultimate, and go for Fearless because you are Singed and people are going to be hitting you. Overall, this version of Singed is much stronger in the early to mid game. However, it should be pretty obvious that this version does not scale nearly as well as the older versions where you could buy Tyr or Roa. Singed is still a fairly difficult champion to play, as you need to understand just how tanky he is in order to bait people into chasing you. But if you're looking for something different and new that counters these stupid tanks, Singed may be for you.